Not enough, because I think that guy's awesome.
Welcome to this week in our collective heads. We'll reposition the camera real quick. Scoot over.
Yep, scoot.
We're all going to get in here.
So we can get behind the green screen.
We're live. Just a little bit more. We're live here at the Let's Play Gaming Expo. Redbeard stopped by to say hey.
Hello, hey. People are applauding. So you can expect.
We're that important. So we just want to talk a little bit. We're talking about E3, right? Like all weekend. And we kind of want to get your thoughts. What were you kind of? What was your favorite thing at E3? Bring up some talking notes for you.
I like a little bit of everything. What I really hate after E3 every year is that there's always this kind of competition where it's like, who won E3? And I didn't hear that a lot this year. The gamers win. Kind of what I expected, a lot of VR stuff. I mean, Sony, again, I just said that not to be redundant. Sony came out, and they had an amazing press event. Bethesda had an amazing press event. Microsoft, I think, is doing a lot of great things. Coming out with the Model S, and the fact that the new Xbox One will have an internal power supply is huge. I mean, because
S is going to have an internal power supply.
that's what I'm talking about. S and the Scorpio, I'm sure will too, but Scorpio's so far out, it's like, I don't even want to. I know, Scorpio's the 4K machine. No, we don't need to worry about that until 2017. But simply, no, exactly. I mean, it's going to be great for people who have that tech. But what's really different about this generation of consoles is that this is more than just like a slim model or anything like, whatever the PS4 Neo is going to be, whatever the Slim is, the Project Scorpio, like, these are going to be hearing machines that actually are, like, as far as the hardware is concerned, will be different. And this is kind of very significant from generations past of consoles, where technology is advancing so fast that we're having to do updates mid-console life cycle.
It'll be 4 years in the life cycle when Xbox the Scorpio comes out, right?
Sure. The Scorpio was in 2017.
That'll be 4 years into
the Xbox One. Well, Xbox One came out 2 years ago. This upcoming holiday season will be the third holiday season it's been out.
So it will be the fourth holiday season, which normally you would be 2/3 of the way through a console.
You say that. However, Xbox 360 launched 4 years after Xbox, like the original Xbox. The original Xbox, they had a 4-year cycle. 360 is the aberration.
I'll agree with that. I think that was Microsoft's first jump into console.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think what's also important to note too is, again, we talked about this before, where Microsoft came out. They're like, well, we're going to do upgradable kind of like hardware and things like that. And of course, what's his name? I can't believe David Nelson came out and he was like, he retracted that. He's like, that's not necessarily the case. But what's important is we are now seeing what they were alluding to is what they're saying is like we are going to have upgraded hardware.
Here's 2 pieces
in the life cycle of the Xbox.
Number 1, switch to Geico and you can save hundreds. Number 2, don't invite your ex-girlfriend to your wedding.
He still loves me.
Phil Spencer came out and he's like, of course, the Scorpio on the Slim Xbox One. No one's getting left behind. All the games will work. And I'm like, was it better? That seemed like a really redundant thing to say. Like, because if you were releasing a superior console, that would then be a new console. You can't call it an Xbox One.
However, if you don't come out and say those things overtly, people are going, because it's the internet, it's going to be this grand conspiracy thing, and there's going to be an entire group of people, and when they're talking, they have a hard enough time controlling their message. If they were to not say something, the message would get even more convoluted. And what happens with you? Yeah, because the marketing of the Wii U, I'm sure you had people, I don't know how recent it is, but I'm sure you had people at least a year into that going, is that an add-on?
No, people still don't understand. Because what you see when you're shopping for a Wii U, you see a game, and you think that that's the console, right? And yeah, for sure, but I still stand by the fact that the Wii U is one of the best consoles. I love my Wii U, never going to sell it, never going to get rid of it. I'm like, it's, see, like being here at the Let's Play Gaming Expo, seeing all these vintage consoles, I'm like, I need to stop selling Nintendo stuff. Like, I need to just keep it and hoard it and like hold on to it because it's going to be irrelevant. But to move on to talk about different things. Sony's press event. I couldn't be more excited about being in God of War.
That was really cool.
That's really cool that I did it, yeah.
That surprised you.
I wasn't surprised. I had to keep the secret. Now that it's announced, I can tell everyone that I did the modeling and capture for Kratos. But all joking aside,
Kratos?
yeah, it's Kratos. Basically, what it seems to me that they're doing is because it's not God of War 4, it's just branded God of War. I think they're rebooting it, but not in Greek mythology, in Nordic mythology. It's like awesome. Perfect.
I think also as gamers we're smart enough to not use things like you have different links, right? You have different. It's linked, but you're not saying like all the time. So we're rebooting the franchise. We're calling him Kratos. He is Kratos. It's not that Kratos, but he is Kratos. It's very true to Kratos.
But it does look like a game, and most importantly, it looks like a different kind of game. This is a third person. A closer to third person, whereas the other ones in the past have almost been the other ones have almost been like a fixed angle, like dungeon crawler with puzzles. But this one is kind of like the last of the God of War of us. Kind of.
I also really like. I feel like God of War was originally designed to be a single project. David Jaffe took it. He wrote an entire character into one game. And it was supposed to end there, right? And then they didn't, and so like the other ones are much more confused and things like that. And the character Kratos gets stretched so thin. He is very one-dimensional. He is Anchor, the little red guy from Inside Out.
He is.
That's who he is.
But this new Kratos is much more dynamic.
Yeah, and like one of the moments in this trailer. Toward the end, after the stabbing of your deer and everything, he reaches out as if he's going to touch the kid's shoulder, and then he pulls back. And that moment had more character than I feel like the last two God of War.
Well, I'm really glad you guys are a fan of my performance. Yeah, because I did a great job, I think.
So enough self-promotion. What about the third part? What was some of the stuff in there that stood out?
As far as Sony's concerned?
No. Third part.
UB had like a 2-hour press event. It was so long. So my biggest disappointments, I would say, out of E3, and I'm not surprised that they weren't announced. I was really looking forward to possibly the new Assassin's Creed. I know it's not. I know the game isn't coming out this year. I know it's not 2016.
I was hoping they would tease.
I was hoping they would tease it because if they teased it, that would do a number of things. One, it would be super hyped. As I love the franchise. Two, it would kind of give me a frame of reference on what it's released because I'm hoping that the next Assassin's Creed will be second or first quarter of 2017. But it's looking like it's going to be a holiday 2017 where they're going to do, it looks like they're going to kind of cycle back and forth where all that attention they would have had to Assassin's Creed, they're going to put towards Watch Dogs 2, which I'm still torn on, man. Like, Watch Dogs 1 had all of the elements of an open world game that I would love, but just something about it didn't strike me.
But that's a common Assassin's Creed 1 to Assassin's Creed 2.
In the Bay Area, you can cross paths with other players, never leaving the comfort of your single-player experience. As you seamlessly encounter other friendly DedSec members, you can communicate with them and with the single press of a button, join them as a co-op team. But for now, let's continue in solo.
Because I saw what happened with Assassin's Creed 1, because I remember
through the roof.
playing Assassin's Creed 1 and thinking, everyone told me it's competitive, it's grindy, and then I realized after I was on the second city, I was like, oh no, yeah, I'm just doing the same thing 9 times. And what I'm hoping is there were a lot of elements in Assassin's Creed 1 that they just got away with. Like where you would investigate, find out what your target was. I feel like they're going to bring that back into the next Assassin's Creed. And like with Watch Dogs, my biggest complaint, which is kind of backwards with Assassin's Creed, was they gave you too much at once. It was the entire world of Chicago, everything was unlocked, and you haven't really even figured out the mechanics of like what does the hacking work, what does it do, until you get like halfway in and you're like, oh, it's just contextual. Like I don't pick what it does. It's just if I can do something, it'll do whatever it does.
That's exactly how I felt like Fallout 3. It's like okay, here's a tutorial, now you're just out, and I was like, what do I do? Like, it was just too much on the
Sure.
Just one open world.
Yeah.
I don't want the open world to start. Show me some stuff.
So while I'm not super hyped for Watch Dogs 2, I have the utmost faith that it's going to be a way big improvement on Watch Dogs 1 because they're not letting go of it. I mean, Sony Pictures is already like, we're going to make a Watch Dogs movie because you guys have the best franchises to adapt to the movies. I'm more than incredibly hyped for Michael Fassbender in the Assassin's Creed movie.
I love what they did. Speaking of that, what they did with the animals.
Sure, where it picks them up and
I love it because from a video game standpoint, we're jumping into the Animus, we're playing the Animus, but it's not interesting seeing, if they're showing stuff outside of an Abstergo, I'm assuming that's what that is, but if they're showing that aspect of it, it would be really
oh, it's Abstergo. There's all the logos are there. I mean, like Michael Irons, who is that his name? The guy who plays Alfred in the new Batman. Jeremy Irons. I'm sorry. Jeremy Irons is the president of Abstergo, the Assassin's Creed movie, and like they did a bunch of teasing where like you can call a number on a business card. It said Abstergo Industries, and so it very much is. And that's what's so fantastic about the movie is they're just taking a new slice in a new direction, but they just have all the core elements and stuff.
Yeah, and to me, it was like a slight change, but to me that's going to be interesting when you watch the movie and they show that Abstergo stuff because to me, I first Assassin's Creed games, that was my favorite part of it. The game was great, but the modern day stuff, absolutely, the conspiracies and stuff going on was amazing, and I'm like, I want that in the movie.
Right, which is so funny that you say that because a lot of people were upset because there's already rumors coming out that like 2/3 of the movie will be modern and 1/3 is going to be history. I'm like, good, because if you're a fan of the franchise, they haven't really touched on the modern day element since like 4. And 4 in Rogue, they touch on that a little bit, but it's like a first person, and it's
spoilers happen.
Yes. At the end of 3. At the end of 3, basically, without saying spoilers, at the end of 3, they kind of really dropped off from their modern day element. But they even tease in Syndicate, in the DLC in Syndicate. This is how meta I am. This is how deep I am with Assassin's Creed. In the DLC with Syndicate, there's like an internal email because since Syndicate and Unity, it kind of breaks the fourth wall, and you as the gamer are the one playing through the genetic memories. So you are the tester. But you're playing through because they've already tapped into genetic memories. But in Syndicate, they even do an email on the DLC, the Jackson DLC, that says, it's been too much. Sorry, player, but we're going to go back to other test subjects now. So they're not using gamers, and so they're going to bring it back to the modern day, and they're going to use a character. Who knows? They might leverage Michael Fassbender, and they have him do the motion capture for the modern stuff beyond the movie. That would be really interesting. If the movie set it up and fed it to them.
The only thing that I think other than that, which I didn't see, was Black Flag, where they think Black Flag, where they open it up and they're like, hey, this is the thing, look at all these genetic memories of all of these people.
Yeah.
And then you get
all right, if you are taking a shuttle back to the hotel, the shuttle
is like, okay, they're purposely launching out and saying, look at all the stuff that you get in there. It's a great story.
Oh, no, they did. No, they did that in that email that's inside the game. In Black Flag, they say, imagine all the time periods we could have. We could do, the Industrial Revolution, which they did. They said we could do the French Revolution, which they did. They also said imagine the Great Pyramid of Giza, which everyone is guessing that the next one is going to be called like Assassin's Creed Empires, and which is the rumor, and it's going to be based in Egypt.
My Egypt though is not because I wanted to go further.
You wanted to be like a forerunner, which is not the forerunner, that's Halo, the precursor race, or something, whatever the race is.
I wanted to be like sort of like everybody knows about me.
Once we play the first game, it's like that's okay.
No, that's not true because I have a relevant question.
Okay.
So we know that Far Cry, Assassin's Creed are the same unit.
So is Watch Dogs.
Okay, that was my question.
In Watch Dogs 1, there's a target that you get that is an Abstergo. That's Abstergo 8. Yeah, Ubisoft is pulled their whole.
Okay, sometime if you're out of town, I'm just gonna have him come in and like
I'll do a whole episode about Assassin's Creed.
I'll give you like a I know with the two of you that's like a 24-hour stream. I'm sorry, I don't have time for that.
So back to E3. Back to E3. That's done. Like so excited for the things. Like, so I'm a big fan of the guys at Arcade. I know Raph, I know Harvey. They're really fantastic dudes. Super creative. I love because they have two studios. They have a studio in Austin, Texas, and they're making on the reboot of Prey, which looks outstanding, psychological first-person thriller with a touch of Dead Space, and sold 100%.
Good morning, Morgan. Today is Monday, March 15th, 2032.
Is getting good at it. Because Dishonored 1, I finished it and I was good at it. But it's one of those games where the more you put time in and you start to like link the combos, the better you get. I'm very excited to play as the new Elizabeth character. I think she looks outstanding. I love the kind of universe, the escape universe they've established. And they kind of established it with the first movie. They're like, Dunwall is just part of these bigger worlds, and we want to explore that more. And it's just the creativity and kind of the dystopian future that they've created is gorgeous. It's all going to be new, and not to mention you get Dishonored 1 Definitive Edition when you pre-order it.
That was one of the biggest things when they said that, that is the third game for this E3 that they did Stick of Truth.
Yep.
So if you buy the Fracture Bowl, they get Stick of Truth. Here's a 4 if you're into that. You get Here's a 4, 1, 2, 3, and Judgment. And this one as well. So,
and if you pre-order Inside, you get Limbo. Or if you don't pre-order Inside, you get Limbo.
For those of you that have Austin Talent is at the merch table.
I finished it on my Vita.
There was like one puzzle close to the end that I couldn't do, and I was like, no, not gonna look anything up. And so like you're running, and then you start falling sideways, and I couldn't figure it out.
I just stuck there. I have a standard. If I'm stuck for more than 5 minutes, it gets a walk through lookup because I don't have the time in the world. I want to finish the game. It's like, I don't have the time for it. I want to finish the game. But if anything, it's like if I were ever to be a play tester, I'd give them the feedback at that point. Be like, listen, this part, I hit a wall. I hit a wall.
I think the coolest thing is actually how they with Wake Champions.
Wake Champions.
I played this in their E3 predictions. Sorry.
Yeah. This was one of my predictions.
And I think everybody, I think you said the same thing as a lot of other people. Like, we just didn't do similar. You didn't think Wake was going to happen.
Right. I didn't think Quake was going to happen.
I guess
I
thought that it was going to take a little bit longer. I thought that it could be like a Skyrim Fallout thing with it in Doom and it in Quake. But the thing is that Quake is mostly it's about the multiplayer.
I imagine Quake Champions is going to be multiplayer.
I think it's going to be multiplayer. It's going to be MOBA, or I think MOBA.
It's going to be MOBA-based.
It's going to be MOBA-based. Which, one thing that, again, my predictions I talked about, Doom multiplayer. And I didn't expect snap maps. So that was really cool to see that.
You said that was the worst thing in their conference.
Hold on, it was cool to see that. This is the reason, because I stole this from you when we were talking before. I'll tell people when I steal stuff. I'm honest, Steve.
If it's good,
if it's good, just take it. That's the tries out something. So I have that in Skyrim, right?
Yeah.
Creating a house. That's right. I'm hoping that this is like change. I'm hoping that they're going to do that with the Vault-Tec DLC. I'm hoping that a lot of aspects of Fallout Shelter.
They clearly did not see there's a pan-out shot where it has the side view of all the different levels. So I think they're going to have a Fallout Shelter view. Again, it makes sense.
I was really, when I saw that, I thought, I hope that's not just a developer thing to show us the scope. But Bethesda's never done that. Bethesda always shows you what they're doing. But the part of my tangent was the reason that I like them in Snap Maps part was that I thought it was the dumbest thing they did. But I thought that was their way to test before Quake comes out. They have the Snap Maps for Doom. Give you guys all the tools. And this started, we talked about this before, this started with Quakes. With Quake 2, right? With developer kits. They did that, right? You remember that? They gave Quake was the first.
Yeah.
They were like, here's the game. Oh, here's all the map development tools that we use. You can make your own thing. And they're doing that in Doom now. And I think they're doing that.
It's smart. That's probably how they have half of their developers. They're working for these people who started doing that kind of stuff. Because if you talk to anybody who worked on Doom, every one of them is like the biggest fan of their own game, which is amazing. Which is why Doom is so good. So actually, I actually just got out of the panel.
I missed it.
For India, Robert and Chad from id, and it was really cool, man. They were talking a little bit about just some of the level designs and kind of some of their ideas and what they wanted to keep and how they wanted to make a game fast-paced. And another thing we were talking about Bethesda, trying out their ideas, moving forward, Wolfenstein, and the throwback levels, how you go to sleep and play the original Wolfenstein. And in Doom, they just put it straight in level, and it's super cool that, Wolfenstein, of course, was Machine Games, which is still a Bethesda company, but they're in Sweden. And then you have id, and they're kind of doing the same thing, And it's really cool because they're all kind of keeping it in-house, and they're kind of using the same ideas. I wouldn't even call it recycling, because they're good. It works, and I think they're.
What you're saying, recycling isn't good.
Recycling
heard it here, folks. CaptainRedbeard doesn't think recycling is
the world to the ground.
I think it's not recycling. It's like they're trying out something they're going to be doing later on that they know is going to be huge later on, and they want to make sure when it's huge. They want to make sure when they actually launch it properly, like when it came to building your settlements. They want to make sure when they launch that works really well.
Right.
And they did.
Especially with the core aspect of the game. My only problem with it is like after you do that, there's like no repercussions of.
I built the crap out of that first one. Never again.
Oh no! I touched almost every single settlement. I built my wife a castle in the sky. As high as I could go. That one island, like the standalone island that you have like swimming into. So I built like because like that also that island. If you so there's a glitch that you can like duplicate iron, and then you can level up super quick by just making statues. So I have an island full of like little baseball. Oh yeah, it's a duplicate glitch. You can do on console as well. Yeah. Like you have to like no they patched it. I'm pretty sure they patched it because I tried doing it and it's not easy to do. You have to kind of do it like real quick. Or like it's like you just iron and you can't have anything else on your person or in the box that you're dumping stuff into. But like you dump iron and then you take it out real quick at the same time. And it doesn't have time to dump it in there, but it does register they took it out, so you double the iron you have for free.
And it's kind of like when they had the thing where if you sent dog meat over to pick up the special book, you grabbed it at the same time.
Yeah, and like not only that, but at the very beginning of the game, the vault 111 that you come out of, there is the refrigerator or whatever. There's a gun, super rare. You just tell him to go get it, and he gets it, and then he drops it at your feet. Yeah. Good old dog meat.
I could not get that to work.
Smash Brothers tournament's full swing. So, and then other than Bethesda, like, I can't say enough good things about Dishonored. I love the guys at Arcane. I love Bethesda. I love everything that they do. Couple concerns, I guess. This is a couple theories from my perspective. Is VR, right? Yeah. So I've done it. It's as fantastic as they make it out to be. I dare say it's worth the price point. If you have a great PC rig and you're looking at like the HTC Vive which is coming out, absolutely. You can play all for the HTC Vive. That's why a lot of these developers, including Bethesda, they're going forward with that because it's the first kind of cover market for the Oculus, And but I have a strong feeling that the PSVR is going to be the most successful because so many people, the install base for PS4 is already there. But also what I think is, I think what we're going to see, what we should see, is kind of a resurgence of different arcades supporting VR. Because that's where it should start, right? Because when we were kids, you would go to the arcade because you didn't have home consoles with these games. That was the only way you could play because you can't afford to buy an arcade cabinet because it didn't exist, right? Well, it's kind of the same thing. It's like the equivalent of like not being able to afford an arcade machine. I don't have $3,000 to drop on buying a high-powered PC rig, and the HTC value is $800 for the headset. So yeah, I can play all of Fallout 4, and I want to do that. Yes, absolutely. But where is the install base going to be? Like, you know, so many developers and publishers are like VR, but like they're not looking at like the end result where it's like people can't afford that.
Where it's going to be on Sony. You're right because of that. These were successful, but they did talk about HTC Vive. But if you noticed, I can't remember the guy who was talking about VR. He was talking about HTC, and then he said there was one little sentence where he said, "VR, we're going to be wherever you are, whatever you choose." I think is what he said.
Yes.
That was a total like hint. It's not just going to be Vive. We're going to branch out.
Yeah, but I mean they have to because like ultimately, most of the VR is PC based. You need a high-powered PC rig, and while that's going to be great for people who play PC, you know, if you have a PC rig, you're playing in your room or in your game room or at your desk where you have a little setup. Like VR is a completely different scenario where you need a living room type setting, if not more. Because you're talking like you can't see where you're at, you know. So it's going to be interesting. I think there's going to be too many cooks in the kitchen as far as developers making stuff for VR, and it's not that it won't be successful, but it's going to not do as well as I think it was.
I think it's going to be very similar to way back in the day. And you've been to the video game museum, right?
I have not yet.
Oh my God, you have to go there. Okay, they have this entire wall. It's like history of consoles. And so you've got this section. This is like in the last like 8 years. And you've got this section that's the last, and then like half of the wall is just covering the late 70s to mid 80s. There's so many, like Magnavox made one, and RCA made one, and Panasonic, and like
that's what I'm saying, man. Like it's going to start.
It's not sustainable to have this many.
VR needs to be in arcades. They like you guys have seen, I'm sure, like kind of that VR. It's like I think it's a building in Utah where it's like a VR kind of like Funland, where you can go and they map out the world and then you kind of go the void, yeah, something like that. Like we need to see more of those. There are locations all over the place that they can do because that's going to be more feasible for someone to be like, okay, cool, I'm going to go drop $20-25 in the afternoon and do some VR because there's no way I can spend $3,000 and have the experience at home. It needs to be there. Not that it shouldn't be consumer available. But I think it's going to be in the best interest of small business owners to open up their own spot like that. I mean, it's like the same thing. Like I remember when I was a kid, there was a spot in Dallas called Virtual World where you go and they had the pods and you can play BattleTech and Red Planet, right? And I loved that because, and I remember the time you'd walk in and they'd have cages and they'd have the towers that were like as tall as me. And now, of course, a single laptop can support what those did and to land all of the machines up. But we have something like that for VR. You know, because there needs to be more of those spots because then you get that hunger, because VR is truly, when you play it, you get that sense of awe that you had when you were a kid. You picked up an NES controller for the first time. You're like, this is amazing. This is so fun. You know, but you're not going to get that unless you can try it. And if you go and you play a demo somewhere, it's going to be, okay, cool, you got like 5 minutes, we're limited, I need you to pass this off. You don't get that longer gaming session that you need. So, again, that's my biggest concern. I think too many developers, too many publishers are like, let's pump out some VR. You know, whereas like it's not sustainable, I feel.
Well, my problem is there are too many versions. I mean, it's not even do like HD, DVD, and Blu-ray. That's two. We have what, 6?
Oculus, HTC Vive, there's a Samsung, a couple Samsungs.
There's an open source one that
One that
also.
just came out.
Yeah.
It's PlayStation. The open source one's going to be $400 as well.
Yeah.
So
that
we
makes
think
sense.
we have VR. So that's 5, and I think there's one more. So that's 5 different platforms.
And all of them are fighting to be like, you can only play this here. And like, yeah, that's cool. But like you said, okay, gaming, the cost of making a game has risen exponentially. So the cost that it takes to make a VR experience, much less a full VR game, is prohibitive. And yes, it's exciting, but how much are you going to be able to charge for this experience that took you 3 times as long, and you had to invent all this new tech? So the PlayStation one and the open source one, because hobbyists are going to make some amazing things, and in a decade, when the smoke is cleared, that will be when I think the biggest experiences are going to come out of this. But I think that there's going to be a lot of collateral damage in the meantime, and I'm sorry, not everyone can survive this.
I agree, and I think that one of the things we're talking about the amount of money that it takes to put out a game like this. Now put out a VR game. You got to see the Star Trek VR, which I freaked out. Kevin and I played a game. I played Artemis. It's a PC game, so it's a PC client that you install on a PC. A bunch of people log in on PC and on a LAN, and you all get to be an engineer or pilot or whatever your role is, but the graphics are like pretty much non-existent.
Right.
So this is basically that on the original Starship. But well, as great as that is, the graphics, as I scoot forward a bit, the graphics aren't spectacular. I mean, it looks like an indie game. Indie games now are getting so good. The graphics on the game don't look as good as I would hope they would be. And I'm sure they spent a good amount of money on this too. Unless they spent all of it on getting Carl Urban and then they did this. There's there it is. So the graphics they're not bad, but you know, if they came out like 4 or 5 years ago, it'd be fantastic. But for it to come out now, it's a little different. So.
I agree. But oh man, it was an impressive E3. I wish I could have gone there. But I think in tandem with the Let's Play Gaming Expo being here, I think it's really cool. Like especially just being here at this expo, hanging out with you guys, because I didn't get a chance to go to E3. And this is a way more consumer friendly expo. And it's local. It's like it's 2 minutes from where we live. It's so close.
I had to drive 30.
Oh, Kevin, this guy. But I'm about to bounce. I think we're going to tear down our table over here doing that. We got a bunch of footage. We shot a little bit with you guys at Redbeard TV. If you guys can, if you've been watching, please go to redbeardtv.com or just look at Redbeard TV on YouTube if you use the YouTube app. Please subscribe. We're trying to get more subscribers. I'm going to be working with you guys as much as I can in the future, and vice versa, bouncing back and forth, because we're trying to come up with new ideas for Redbeard TV, and I'm thinking we're going to really try to capture indie gaming. So we're going to see what we can do with that. But you guys are awesome. Love you guys. Up top.
Anytime.
There you go. All right.
We'll see you later.
You guys take it easy. Love you, TWIOCH people.
See you guys later.